Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Miles, aka the Political Introvert. I am back. I had to take a few weeks off of camera, but hey, I'm back and I'm ready to get started. Wanted to come on to talk about the whole Tulsi Gabbard controversy regarding her recent comments on Medicare for All. So for those who have been living under a rock, Tulsi Gabbard came on NPR a few days ago, discussing a whole bunch of topics by an interviewer who was asking her really stupid questions, but that's another video. But the main thing that people got talking in that video is actually when she called Medicare for All Medicare Choice. To make a long story short, she says, I'm paraphrasing, while she does support it, Medicare for All, she'd rather call it Medicare Choice. Pretty much what she's saying is that, if people want to get additional insurance beyond Medicare for All, they have the right to do so. She believes in freedom of choice. And a lot of people, after that she made those comments, a lot of people were very, very upset with her, stating that, she's canceled, she's for a public option, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I will admit to myself first, when I first heard about it, I was a little bit skeptical, but I did some research of myself, though, because, I don't want to jump to conclusions and all that. And, listening to her recent interviews and listening to a few commentators, I don't think she has a bill out yet, but I'm interpreting what she's saying is that, yes, she's for Medicare for All expansion. She confirmed it with her town hall earlier today, that, yes, she is for Medicare for All. However, she is for a private option. So in other words, everybody pays into Medicare. However, if the coverage that we are already getting isn't enough, or people want to get extra stuff, like for employers and unions, hey, they're welcome to do so. And the reason why a lot of people are upset is because they don't want private insurance involved. Well, I got news for you guys. Every single country that has universal health care has a private option, some sort of private option. Some more than others. But private insurance still exists, and I don't really understand what the whole thing is. There's first of all, there's two different things. A public option is completely different than a single payer, Medicare for All, because the difference is Medicare for All, everybody pays into it. With a public option, you have to buy into the public. You have to actually buy in. So you can't just go in there. You can't. Public option, not everybody's covered. The only way you can get covered is if you actually have to pay for the government to cover you. And with a public option, it's not really sustainable. Because of the fact that the insurance companies will, if you have a private and public option when everybody doesn't pay, the insurance companies could favor, healthy people and then leave the rest to a public option. And then what might happen is that, costs will go up and, it won't be unsustainable. Then you get, people who are skepticism of government insurance say, hey, you know what? See, I told you it wouldn't work. But it wasn't working properly overall. So that's where the tricky stuff is. And that's completely different than what advocates of people like Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Andrew Yang, they're proposing as well. So don't get that confused with Medicare for All. That's completely different systems. Now, there's some people, particularly Bernie supporters, not all the Bernie supporters, I'm not talking to all of you, but there are some that are saying that, Bernie Sanders bans medical insurance, private insurance, which is actually false. Right now there are Congress, there are two bills, one in the House, one in the Senate by Camille Jayapal, and then Bernie Sanders introduced his own version of Medicare for All. And both of them have some type of private insurance involved. The only difference is they can't duplicate, meaning that the private insurance cannot make Medicare for All. Like a private insurance company cannot have, coverage similar to Medicare for All. They have to have additional supplemental insurance. So I don't really understand, why people keep saying that Bernie wants to ban medical private insurance. To make a long story short, guys, this is America. I am for Medicare for All myself. I'm for a single payer system. I don't think private insurance should have, should be the main, thing standing in between the doctors and, doctors handling the payments for doctors pretty much. The government should be able to take care of that, just like every single other country. But again, guys, we live in America. People want to get additional insurance, and I believe that single payer should not cover every single thing, like cosmetic surgery or, mainly cosmetic surgery. And other stuff though, it should cover the basics, preventative care, it should cover, if you got to get surgery, if it's affecting your health one way or the other, you should be able to, Medicare should cover it. And if you want to get additional stuff like, like again, cosmetic surgery, I can't think of the top of my head, but other stuff that doesn't really affect your health, but you just want to enhance your health or something like that, then yeah, you're gonna have to, yeah. I mean, it's no different than what most countries do. So, I'm really, it's really disheartening that the people are saying that Tulsi does not support public option. Where does it say that she supports a public option? Because there's nowhere except, now there is one way, there is her old website, I think, for Congress website, where it says Medicare public option, but she doesn't use that anymore. She updated all her information to her new site. Like I said, Tulsi is for single payer. I believe she was in the past for a public option, but she completed for Medicare for all. She's one of the first ones to sign on to Medicare for all. And I think what she's doing is she's trying to stand out, differentiate herself from Bernie Sanders, or the other candidates. And again, we're going to see what she comes up with her bill. But, the point of the universal health care is to have every single person covered. That's what we're fighting for. Again, we're already paying into Medicare, and we can't access that till 65. If people want to get additional insurance, okay, let them do it. As long as our basic needs are met and nobody's left behind, what is the controversy? This is just starting to turn into like, if your name is not Bernie Sanders, and we're gonna go and find ways to criticize you and try to smear you pretty much, because that's what I'm seeing is now there's nothing wrong with critiquing. Like if you disagree with it, of course you disagree with it. Let's have a healthy debate, not these smear tactics, not calling names and all this BS that's going on. I swear, like Twitter's like a toxic level of toxicity sometimes though, because it's just like people are getting really too personal. It's getting way too far. If you want to debate the different types of healthcare system, let's debate that. Again, all other countries have it. They have some type of private insurance and they're doing just fine. And they have a hell of a lot better healthcare and lower costs than we do. The point of this is to give private insurance less power, though. Take them out of the mix. Put them as an extra, additional supplement. Give people a chance, because I almost guarantee you that if we get Medicare for all for everybody and it covers their needs, 9 times out of 10, most people may stick to it. Now, of course, like I said, everybody's different. People want to get additional stuff, they can. So it's like public and private schools, public schools for access to everybody, but if people want to go to private schools, hey, they have the chance to do that. If they're not finding what they need for public schools, the thing is, as Americans, we like choices, and I'm not saying that to advocate for a public option. What I'm saying is, let's get the basics done, and then whatever additional comes, it comes, okay? But my issue with the issue that is going on right now is because it's that a lot of people are putting Bernie Sanders at a pedestal. Like he's starting to be treated like Hillary Clinton, of how Hillary Clinton was treated in 2016. And we remember that, when Bernie started early off, people thought, he had no chance. He was polling very low. Of course, look how that turned out. Now he's filling stadiums and, he's bringing progressive to the map, which I respect about that for him. I respect that Bernie bought this, conversation about Medicare for all. When 4 or 5 years ago, people were saying, "Oh, it's ponies. You can't get it done. We're never ever come to pass." Hillary Clinton said that, a few years ago, And now it's like the main, everybody's, have some version of Medicare for all. That's the standard. And I respect Bernie for bringing that conversation, bringing $15 minimum wage. He's brought a lot of issues that we couldn't really talk about a couple years ago to the mainstream, which is a really good thing. But the problem is that we need to be treated candidates very fairly across the board. You can disagree with what's going on with certain candidates. I have, like I was telling you guys in my previous videos, I am a supporter of Tulsi Gabbard. I will be voting for her in 2020. And there's not everything I agree with her, but I think she's the best candidate to be president of the United States. But I'm not going to dismiss Bernie's accomplishments either. And she does have, Tulsi has her fair share of criticism. That's fine. But when you go too far and you start with, making stuff up with the name calling and everything like that, that just shows your credibility. You have some people, some YouTube commentators who are just, just acting like children, with all this, this smear tactics. And these are people that I used to watch, and now they're just, acting like 5-year-olds, and it's ridiculous. I understand y'all support Bernie, and that is your business, but don't sit there and, say, look at Tulsi and look at all the mishaps that she's doing, waiting for her to, have a misstep or whatever. Yet Bernie Sanders is, he has his campaign. I think his campaign director came out. One of his senior campaign staffers came out and say, "Oh, him and Elizabeth Warren should work together." Hey, they're basically trying to have to get the Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders supporters together, united. Not to criticize them or whatever. And we're still in the primary. This is the general election, and it basically confirms that Bernie Sanders is not going after Elizabeth Warren at all. And that's an issue, and we'll talk about that hopefully in another video. But and yet his supporters don't say anything. They don't say anything about the election integrity that Bernie Sanders completely ignores, but yet lies about Russiagate, and the fact that he's silent on Julian Assange and wants to prosecute Chelsea Manning and things like that. I can go on and on, but that's my point is that if you're gonna hold somebody to if you're gonna criticize one candidate, you better be fair to everybody else. Have that same energy for your candidate too. Don't sit there and pick fights with other candidates that you're not going to say anything for what your candidate's doing, because it makes you look, it makes you discredit your qualification as a journalist. Though I'm not a journalist myself, but what I'm saying is that if you're going to call yourself a journalist, act like one. Be fair. You can support whoever you want, but just be fair. That's all we're asking. Don't sit there and lie. Don't smear. Just be fair. Let's have a healthy debate. That's what one of the things I wanted to do about this channels that have debate about topics, though. But it's like, people are fighting over which candidate is, oh, this candidate did this candidate, they don't support that, and blah blah blah, and this it's just back and forth. And you know what it's gonna do? It seems like us, seems like people, us progressives, like to fight with each other. And meanwhile, I can say about the Republicans, they mostly keep it together. These are one of the things that, if we keep fighting with each other, we're going to get distracted on other issues, and this could lead to a Donald Trump 2020. So all I'm saying is, guys, is that when we just look at the details before we criticize them. I know I'm getting off topic though, but again, so to make a long story short, Tulsi Gabbard, she does support Medicare for all, okay? But it's a little bit of a different approach, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, we can't have the same thing as Bernie Sanders though. The point of this is a primary. You got to make yourself stand out. How are people gonna know, who to vote for? Everybody's just doing the same thing. Let other people different approach. As long as we get to the goal, that's the most important thing. So, but those are my thoughts, guys. So let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and share the video if you found anything useful. I would love to know your feedback. This is Miles, the political introvert, signing off. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.